Hi, who said that giants are imaginary and only exist in fairy tales? There are many big people out in the world. Whoever's taller than 7 feet is considered to be a giant. It isn't very good to be tall. Large size can be a real problem for a person. It can affect your health and really decrease your life quality. Today we will show you some people that look very different from regular folk. We're talking about real life giants. This is Robert Bobrovsky from Romania. His enormous height is a combination of genetics and a type of gigantism. His father was 7 feet 2 inches tall and his mom 6 feet 2 inches tall. While Robert was only 14 years old, he moved to Italy where he became a part of a basketball team. Those people took care of his diet. Back then, Robert used to weigh 182 pounds, and it felt like he could break just by making any kind of clumsy movement. And it still feels that way now. His movements look kind of unnatural. Robert used to eat 7 times a day, gaining weight by all possible means. Then video of him playing appeared online. He got asked to play in US. Right now he lives in Texas and dreams to become a professional basketball player. He's 7 feet 8 inches high and weighs 225 pounds. Coaches say that Bobrovsky knows how to throw a ball and he's a good player overall, and most importantly, he's a hard-working guy. Anyways, every time he gains speed on the way to the hoop, it looks kinda strange. This is the problem that trainers are trying to fix right now. They came up with a schedule for him, which includes not only his training sessions, but also different kinds of exercises for his body muscles. They try to do it all gradually so that they don't damage his body. Let's wish this guy luck and hope that he'll achieve all the things he wishes to achieve. You're looking at the tallest boxer in history. Even famous Nikolai Valuev looks like a little boy standing next to him. Unfortunately, nobody knows the real name of this giant. But there are 2 versions, however. Gogu Stefanescu and Dumitru Guaga. This guy was also known as Romanian Goliath. Still, most people call him Gogia Mitu. He was born in September 1909 in Romania. When he was 3 years old, Mitu was taller than 9-year-old boys. And by the age of 10, he was taller than almost any grown-up man. At the age of 20, he started boxing, but it was very hard to find a proper opponent for him. Everyone was too scared to fight him. His first fight happened at the Venus Stadium in Bucharest. He fought against professional Italian boxer Saverio Grizzo. That time he knocked out his opponent in the first round. His second fight was against the Romanian champion Dumitru Pavlescu. That time he also won with a knockout in the first round. According to various sources, his height was 7 feet 9 inches and 8 feet 2 inches. Next on our list is Igor Above from Ukraine. He lives in US now, where he already had 16 surgeries. Those made him stop growing, and now he is 7 feet 9 inches. He grows up so fast because his pituitary gland produced too much growth hormone. Ever since he was little, it was evident that he looks nothing like other kids. In the 90s, when Igor was only 6 years old, he was already about 6 feet tall. His family had to replan the house because of his height. Their house was much bigger than most houses, all because of the boy's height. Everything was bigger: shower, kitchen, dressing room, everything. And even though life is hard for both Igor and his mom, they still find time and money to help those in need. Yao Defen from China was considered to be the tallest woman in the world. When she was born, she was much larger than her peers. She was born in 1972 in Anhui. Although by the age of 11, she was already over 5 feet high. All of her family members are not very tall. The reason for the way she is the pituitary tumor. She stopped growing after she had a surgery. She is now 7 feet 7 inches tall and weighs 390 pounds. She makes her living working in a circus. And the wild thing is that her master didn't let her see the doctor when she had severe pains. One time during a performance, she received a few injuries, but she was forced to work nevertheless, and sometimes they even would not let her eat. Fortunately, Ya was able to escape that horrible slavery. She died in 2012 at a hospital after damaging her head. When Ukrainian Leonid Stadnik was a teenager, he had a brain surgery. After that surgery, he started growing really fast. Soon, pituitary tumor formed in his brain. That's what made him so big. Leonid didn't feel too well. He couldn't even walk properly. For a long time, he refused to get in the books of records, but then he totally signed his name in the book in 2007. He beat the previous record holder Bao Xishun. His height was 8 feet 5 inches and weight was 440 pounds. In August 2008, Bao Xishun signed right back after Stadnik refused to get measured by the officials. He said he didn't want any fame and he didn't want people to talk about him. For the past 10 years, he's been gaining about an inch every month, and I guess we can conclude that by the end of his life, he was really tall. Leonid died on August 24 in 2014. Cause of death? Hormone-producing tumor hemorrhage. Turkish Sultan Kossan has been considered the tallest man in the world for a long time, and now it seems like he actually stopped growing. He is 8 feet 2 inches high. He started growing rapidly at the age of 10. His body was producing way too much growth hormone. Over the course of 2 decades, he grew by 8 feet. He was under threat of dying because his brain was taking up too much pressure. In 2008, Kossan had his first surgery. That's when they removed his tumor. But that didn't stop his growth. Only in 2010 in Virginia University they tried a new method on him, which showed some good results. Seems like Sultan officially stopped growing now. But life isn't easy for him. He's very uncomfortable inside buildings. And he can barely get inside a car. And he simply can't find any proper clothes in regular clothes stores. Obviously, there are no 5 feet long trousers in regular shops. But there are some obvious positives in Kossan's life. He enjoys listening to music and he likes watching good movies. He plays video games and he chats to his Instagram followers. He posts pictures of himself sharing some relevant news about his life. Sultan says he enjoys observing people from the height of his height and that changing laps is never a problem for him. And the tallest human in all the history is, of course, Robert Wallow. On February 22nd in 1918, Addie Mae Wallow gave birth to a healthy child and called him Robert. Robert weighed only 8 pounds, and he was a pretty ordinary child. But the thing about him was that he grew a lot faster than other kids. At his first birthday, his weight was 44 pounds and he was 3 feet 4 inches tall. At the age of 8, he was already taller than his 6 feet tall dad. At 13, he became the tallest Boy Scout, and by the time he finished high school, he was 8 feet 4 inches tall. He was diagnosed with pituitary hyperplasia, which is something that's characterized by abnormally high levels of growth hormone. His gigantic proportions was a huge problem. His energy demand was something like 8,000 calories, which is 3 times more than a regular man needs on average. He experienced problems with blood circulation and he walked with a cane most of the time. Americans always loved him and they were always proud of him. Wallow died in his sleep at the age of 22. Last time Robert's height was measured, it was 8 feet 11 inches and weight was 439 pounds. Over 40,000 people came to say their goodbyes to the tallest man on the planet. All the shops in town were closed on that day. His coffin weighed about 1,000 pounds. It took 12 people to carry it. There's a real-size statue of Robert Wallow in his native town in Alton in Illinois. Also, there are a few wax figures of this remarkably tall man in Ripley's museum. The next giant man on the list is the heaviest athlete in all the history. It's Emmanuel Yarbrough. He's a sumo wrestler and MMA fighter. His size isn't exactly typical for an MMA fighter. He used to fight his opponents when he weighed 650 pounds, being 6 feet 7 inches tall. But he would often lose as his opponents would normally make him all weary and then beat the hell out of him. Perhaps the most fun fight was when he went up against Daiju Takase, who weighed 167 pounds. Yarbrough didn't even need to do anything. He just had to lay down on his opponent. But the Japanese was actually very nimble and Yarbrough could hardly lay his hands on him. Last man on our list is Man Choi, another MMA fighter. He's from South Korea. He is 7 feet 2 inches high and weighs 352 pounds. He once fought against Fyodor Yemelyanenko. Back then, Fyodor won the fight, but at some point throughout the fight it seemed like Fyodor was done for good when the giant was lying on top of him. So there you go guys, giants are among us. If you guys enjoyed watching this video, then press the like button, leave your comments and subscribe to see more interesting stuff like that. Thanks for watching and see you again next time.